thanks for joining another spectrum of topics. We'll be joined shortly with Tom Prasky. It'll be my first in person, so that'll be a real treat. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so we talk a lot about just his background journey to Spectrum, which is very fascinating. And then what we're kind of seeing as it relates to just market trends from that perspective. And then some exciting updates for Spectrum Interiors in 25 and beyond. So take a listen. Hope you enjoy. Okay, great. Thanks for joining me on a spectrum of topics. I'm super excited. Tom Prasky, CEO of Spectrum Interiors.
Hello.
Okay. As you can see, this is our first time filming in person. And maybe walk us through kind of your path to Spectrum. I think that's really an interesting journey. And then we can kind of talk about a little bit what drew you to Spectrum.
Sure. I started out my career in construction when I was 14 years old. Started picking up job sites, residential neighborhood. My dad was a realtor. So I was able to work for cash on the side. Started out just picking up yards, advanced into framing basements, doing drain tile systems. From there, slowly evolved, got into college. When I was 18 years old, a friend's dad was a project manager, and he said, "Hey, would you like to join the union as a laborer?" So I joined the laborers union.
Nice.
Did concrete cutting, wall sign, pouring concrete. Did that while I worked my way through college down at Mankato. Got hired by Ryan Companies after college. Started my career in their special projects division, focusing on unique design build opportunities, working closely with designers. From there, advanced to a development company where we handled construction in-house. So we would develop and work with our internal teams to build projects. So one of the first projects that I worked on was down in the North Loop, back when there was tumbleweeds going down the street and metal recycling plants everywhere. And now it is what it is today. I thought they were crazy when they started buying up buildings, but that's where we went to. From there, had that passion for design, being part of the design and integrating construction into the design and kind of working that both sides. Went in and got into design build on the mechanical side. One of actually my preferred subcontractors landed a massive project, and they said, "Hey, we actually don't know how to run this as a design build. This is twice as big as anything we've ever done," which was a hospital in St. Paul. So I came and helped them set up the infrastructure so they could run a project. They knew the nuts and bolts. I knew the large project side. So did that project, work with them for a few years, and then went to another larger mechanical, electrical, plumbing contractor, focusing
in the Twin Cities?
In the Twin Cities area, but we did work throughout the Midwest region. My job there was a pre-construction manager. So we focused on design build, prefabrication of systems, working with larger general contractors on larger projects, trying to create a better way to do projects in a faster, more efficient manner to help control costs and also control the schedule. So from there, I got a random phone call from a company that was based out of Australia who said, "Hey, we understand you know design build. We do design build, but for a general contractor." And I said, "That's never going to work in the United States." 6 months later, I took the job. A decade later, I'm still doing the same thing. So,
what a great story.
And it's been fun. It's been awesome to watch how when we first started doing true integrated design and construction in North America, how it was weird. But the rest of the world has been doing this for 30, 40 years.
I find that so fascinating that, everybody else around the world has been doing it, but here it just seemed to be so foreign kind of back in the day. But then kind of what happened to that company?
That company still around. They are a global company. And it's still happening, and the trend is becoming more and more widely accepted because it is a tried and true method at this point. And you're starting to see Fortune 10 companies adapting and changing traditional procurement methods in order to allow for the streamlined approach that we're doing. It's a lot of fun. It gives us a chance, as a construction background, we normally don't get the chance to sit down with the client and have those discussions as their projects are developing. Whereas now, we have that opportunity, and it really gives us a chance to help steer the clients in the right direction early on.
Yeah.
So we don't get off track, so there's not wasted time. It's more efficient. And it really gives us a true partnership with clients, understanding what is driving the job, which is a unique perspective that not a lot of people in this industry get to experience, and we do. And, it's awesome.
I know, I agree. I think that's awesome. One thing that I love too is that you just come from that construction background, so you've done it. You have the knowledge, have the expertise. That's why I'm excited to have you here, right? As we're continuing to build Spectrum Interiors, grow, continuing to work with clients, like you have that background of the construction, have been a part of a successful business that was doing what we're doing, right? To kind of be able to take those best practices and implement those to Spectrum. I've seen, how long have you been here? That's our little inside joke.
The running joke, I said 3 months for like 6 months, but it's been
like,
about 9 months now.
I'm like, each month that goes by, you're going to have to continue to add up the amount of time you've been there. It's funny.
Not the new guy
so we say 3 months always. It's just like a little joke of ours every time. I'm like, well, how long have you been here? 3 months? It's so funny. But anyway, that's a fascinating journey. So then kind of what took you from that large kind of global company doing design build to here at Spectrum? Maybe share a little bit with our listeners.
Fortunate enough, I walked in the front door the first day and recognized most of the team members that we have here, and I've worked with some of them for 10 years in the past, so it was a very familiar office. The chance to get back home, working on an international level for better part of a decade, just getting a chance. I have 3 boys that I'm very active with throughout their different activities, so it's nice to be back home. I'm totally okay with not being a Diamond Medallion member anymore. It's actually quite refreshing.
That is nice. That's awesome.
Well, and the Twin Cities market is obviously, it's a thriving market. It's a consistent market. And just being back and being able to help clients and create those partnerships locally, that we also now are really focused on taking these local clients and helping them nationally and internationally, which is something that not a lot of companies can do. And I take a lot of pride in the fact that we can continue that momentum and really build this thing.
So for sure.
It's been a lot of fun.
It's been super fun. And we'll kind of get into that too, kind of what's the outlook for prediction of Spectrum in 25 and beyond and things like that, but that's awesome. Glad to have you here. Maybe let's talk about kind of hot topics in the industry as it relates to kind of market trends. We keep hearing about the kind of flight to quality. What's your kind of thoughts around what you're seeing from kind of some of the clients that we're helping as it relates to office?
I mean, I think right now clients are acting with a lot more certainty. And they have a lot more confidence in their decision making. We've seen interest rates are continuing to slide in the right direction, I think, which is also very helpful just as far as peace of mind, and the cost of money right now is becoming much more affordable than, let's say, it was even a year and a half ago. We're starting to see stabilization in material costs. Labor is very stable right now, which is helpful. So people, when they're going on this journey and they're starting to talk about their real estate, they understand that they don't have to be as concerned about inflation. Inflation is stabilized. Interest rates are going in the right way. The market lead times on materials, which since COVID started have always been a wild card, we don't necessarily have as many questions. And I think that's really giving people confidence that now is a great time. And we feel very optimistic, over the next 2, 3, 4 years that this is going to continue to trend in the right direction. So our clients are happier. People are actually wanting to come back into work. They're volunteering to come in. So it's not necessarily a mandated thing. People want to come in. And as a part of that, it's really helping the overall industry in general. And even it's trickling down to like residential. Like residential housing right now is starting to tick back up in the right direction. So overall, I think the industry is healthy. And it's just continuing to get better, which is a lot of fun.
And what's super interesting too, what you said is kind of people want to get back. I love how, or not love, but being a part of kind of this process and through COVID was very trying, especially talking about people's like hybrid workplace strategies, policies, things like that, and kind of we maybe elaborate a little bit on what we've kind of seen and unpack what you said, like people want to come back, right? Well, then how does that kind of translate to their space?
Yeah.
Maybe share a little bit what you can with what we were kind of seeing.
Sure. First of all, COVID wasn't all bad. I mean, obviously there's the health and the social impacts, and some of those things were lingering, but some of the practices that came across was the investment in technology. And that is something that we've done where people didn't necessarily want to go travel around the country or around the world to see their construction sites. So implementing technology through either AI, virtual reality, so people can really keep an eye and track on what is happening on their site, where they're spending their money, ensuring that they have good value, quality projects, and being able to do it remotely, being able to do it from your computer screen as opposed to jumping in your vehicle or jumping on a plane to go tour a site.
All right.
That was great. Also, people being forced into being more proactive in their approach to real estate.
Okay.
Just because of there was a lot of factors before. Like you didn't know if you had to buy mechanical equipment when you were going to get it. You didn't know if it was going to be a 3-month lead time or a 9-month lead time, where now you can start to create that risk registry based off of what we have learned before and the uncertainties, and really start to de-risk projects much earlier on. And I think that is a very positive trend that's not going to go away.
Yeah.
It's just the way that business should be handled, specifically in our industry. So I feel confident that the lessons that we learned through COVID are going to continue to really push our industry into being more innovative, which creates predictability and cost certainty, and really will give clients a much smoother journey than probably they had before.
Yeah, that's really true. And I think too, this whole check the box of, everyone was talking, well, we don't need our office, right? The pendulum kind of swung to that. Well, now I think they came back to, well, we know we need it. Maybe then let's look at ways in which we can kind of create some efficiencies, right?
Yep.
Maybe we can kind of develop some really great collaboration spaces, technology, giving people the ability to, if they are virtual, right? Like you're kind of giving that equity of the ability to kind of be in the office, right? I think
Absolutely.
I think you're right. I think that was really well said. It was like there were some positives that kind of came out of it, which with kind of as it relates to the ways we're working and things like that.
Well, and I think too, when clients and when the teams are coming together for our clients internally, people recognize they want to create comfortable environments, and some people, even through different design trends that are going out there, really trying to explore neurodiversity, because not everyone works the same. Different environments for people to be comfortable in and really want to come back in. People have really taken hold of that, and they're receptive to it, and they're starting to see trends that it is working. Which is massive. And some of these clients that we have noticed, as people want to come back in the office, specifically even in like the life science category, they're noticing increased in patents and innovation just through simple collaboration of face-to-face water cooler conversations. Those type of things which were missed for a long time are now coming back, and I don't think that there's any regrets right now from any clients on what is happening and the trends that are there. I think it is very positive, and it's helping their business, which is awesome for us to see. Yeah,
that's great. You kind of talked about clients feeling confident, I guess, right? There's a certain level of confidence that's like within the market, right? Maybe talk a little bit about how our process can really lend itself to helping those clients run some business evaluations, maybe as it relates to some of the early like design and maybe pre-construction. We talk about it, we use the terminology, we create kind of great business cases, right? For an opportunity, maybe unpack that a little bit.
Sure. Right now, we're starting to see, and this is even in the last couple of months, our clients that are, over the last couple of years that would be out looking for real estate in the commercial market, Class A office building. They could basically have their choice of where they wanted to go. Now we're starting to see competition for some of these spaces. So clients, when they're out touring the market, are starting to say, hey, we need to make this decision relatively quickly. So when we can go through and help them with their real estate, and we can help tour buildings, figure out through the test fitting, are you going to fit, but also give them a budget that they're comfortable with, and making sure, yes, you can fit, yes, you can afford it, and yes, this works with your schedule. It really helps them move a little bit more quickly so they don't lose out on some of those opportunities.
For sure.
And it's very interesting the last couple months of what we're starting to see, and you probably see it as well. But there is competition for some of these higher profile buildings, some of these spaces. So it's.
I'm thinking of one in particular. I think we're thinking of.
I think we're thinking of the same.
The same one. I mean, but it's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's being able to kind of come together and make business decisions really quickly. And why not give the client all these tools, right?
All these tools for the confidence, so they can know that they're making the right decision as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and then I think it overlays really nicely with just the brokerage side, right? Getting that deal done or lease terms signed, right?
Absolutely.
Being able to have them involved in the conversation. And so we're all aligned on what's the goals of the project.
Absolutely.
And how can we kind of get it across the finish line for everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah, well said.
Yeah. Maybe share a little bit about, if you can, the outlook for Spectrum. What does 2025, 26, 27 look like?
Yeah, it's we're pretty confident right now. We're expecting fairly significant growth this year. We're seeing a lot of pent-up demand. People really starting to, like I said, through confidence. They just feel more confident, and they've kicked the can down the road. A lot of people have done lease extensions and maybe locations that they haven't loved being at, and they're using this now as the opportune time to really start to push things forward. So we're starting to see clients starting to engage us about 25 projects, but also 26 and 27 projects. So really starting to feel like, hey, let's get moving on this. We think it's the right time. Like, let's start these discussions. Let's see what's out there. Let's figure out what works best for our team. Even starting to, through our strategy team internally, starting to have those conversations of, where clients want to be in 2 years, 3 years, whereas before they were like, we're worried about today, where now people are starting to say, where are we going to be in a year? Where are we going to be in 2 years? Where are we going to be in 3 years? And let's put a plan together and let's go do it. And that is very encouraging. And honestly, that is a lot of fun for me, and I think our entire team. That's why we're all here at Spectrum.
For sure.
Is we have that opportunity to do that. So
that's exciting too. And we added 2 new business development team members, which I think is great. That's a real commitment to kind of our goals and what we want to achieve as an organization too. I think that was awesome. Maybe talk a little bit about the different sectors.
Different market sectors?
Different market sectors.
So professional services groups have been very consistent, I would say, throughout the past probably 5 or 6 years. But what we're starting to notice a trend in, the light industrial is booming right now. The hybrid between office or production space and office space. There's big investment into that. A lot of clients are really, those businesses are really growing. So that's been a lot of fun to kind of really get in and carve a niche in that. And then also life sciences, which has continuously been steady throughout, but we're really starting to notice a focus not only on the lab environments and the back of house, but also the front of house, the client experience. And we've seen some really fun projects coming across on that, and that investment, specifically in the Twin Cities, but also nationally, that's not going to change. It's going to continue to be an innovative and a big market for us, and a lot of potential in the Twin Cities and really everywhere. It's really not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So now kind of shifting gears a little bit more to personal. So you said you had 3 boys. We always talk, I have 2 girls.
Yes.
You have boys. I'm doing the Barbies and the dolls and the makeup, and you're doing the wrestling and the roughhousing.
Yeah. Referee for UFC fighting, teaching my kids how to patch drywall. Those are normal everyday activities in my house.
Very different.
Yeah.
Very different. But so we posted on our LinkedIn page back in October, right? Just highlighting the work that you've done in volunteering for football. Maybe share a little bit about that. I think that's so awesome, just that organization and all of the work that you've done kind of for that.
Sure, yeah. So for the last 8 years since my son has started playing football, I've got involved, obviously passionate about football, but also trying to teach kids the right way to play the game. So I've been certified through the Heads Up organization, which is sponsored by the NFL, for 8 years now. Currently active, my oldest son, he's a 10th grader, so unfortunately I can't coach at the high school level, but I can still coach the youth. So I have my 7th grade son, I coach on that team. And then I also volunteer and help coach on my 4th grade son's team as well. So that is basically the first week in August through Halloween,
Yeah.
5 to 6 days a week, I'm on a football field for a couple hours a day. I've also now jumped in. My son's playing traveling basketball, so I'm coaching on that. So that is
You guys are busy.
11 weekends a year. My oldest son also does traveling football in the winter, so we jump around from different cities, whether it's Dallas, Las Vegas, Atlanta, Iowa. We're on planes flying around doing football, doing basketball.
Super fun.
Super fun, super active.
Yeah. A big sports family, would you say?
Big sports family.
Yeah.
The boys love
For
it.
sure.
We obviously love supporting it.
For sure.
But you know, just back to the coaching is being around some of these kids, and it's funny. It's every single year as the season starts, I talk to the parents and I said, my goal of this year is one, to teach the fundamentals and what it's like, but also teach these kids how to be part of a team and contribute to a greater purpose and a goal.
Yeah.
And someday these kids are going to have a boss, and it's not going to be their parents.
Yeah.
They're going to have to take direction and leadership and figure out their own way. And there's no better sport, in my opinion, than football to figure that out. It takes, you know, a team of 11 people all focused on their job and helping out and contributing for what they're best at in order to get positive results.
Yeah.
And you start to see this with some of these kids. They're coming in, and some kids have confidence issues. They're very nervous the first couple days of practice.
Yeah.
By the end of the year, their parents are coming in and saying, I've never seen my son more confident.
Oh, just the impact that you have too, not only like you said on the football aspect, but it's really them as like human beings too. I think there's a ton of positive influence that you get to have in that.
And it's not about winning and losing. And you know, these kids, when they win, it's teach them how to win the right way.
Yeah.
And when they lose, what did we learn from our loss? How did it make us feel? How do we want to change? Are we going to sit back and accept that? Or are we going to get to work and work a little harder maybe, work on some things and really kind of get them to be self-motivated?
Yeah.
And that is actually more fun than me than winning and losing or any of that.
Awesome.
It's just seeing these kids as they've developed throughout the years is just been awesome.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I love
That's
it.
awesome.
I love it.
That's great.
Yeah.
I can see.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
It just really kind of comes through. That's awesome.
It's so much fun.
That's great. Last question.
Okay.
If you had to pick a theme song for your life,
Oh boy.
what would your song be?
There's
Like if you had to say, this is the song to Tom Prasky's life, what would it be?
Oh boy. You should have warned me about this one.
Nope, it's better off the cuff.
Okay, well, I instantly start to go to like TV theme songs.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to do like We Will Rock You.
Yeah, I don't know. There's certain TV shows too that I follow. That's my work mug. And actually,
Is that have a theme song?
Probably not.
Oh, I don't know because I haven't seen it yet. It's on my bucket list
For all the
25.
kids watching, I know that this podcast is huge with kids. This is probably not for kids. The language of Ted Lasso is maybe a little bit too colorful for most people, but it is very.
I've heard it's
motivating
really good. Highly recommend.
It's fantastic. You have to watch it.
Yeah. Okay, theme song.
I don't know.
Tom.
I don't know. I'm a huge music person, so it could be country. It could be, I don't know, maybe the new country song, I Got a Guy for That with Post Malone.
There
whatever.
we go.
That's
there
kind of
we
a cool,
go.
I mean, that's kind of how we work around here. So
that
maybe
is
something
true.
like that.
Oh, I like that one. That's a good one. I haven't heard that one yet.
You
That's
haven't
good.
heard that song?
No, I've heard the song. I haven't heard that one as like a choice. Like we always go back to classics. Like mine is like Empire State of Mind by Alicia Keys and Jay-Z.
Okay.
There we go. You wouldn't have?
No.
By my personality? Come on.
No.
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, got to keep you on your toes.
All right.
Okay. Okay, well, awesome. Well, this is great. Thank you so much for
Of course.
coming and talking to me and sharing your insights and being on the spectrum of topics.
Next time, just give me a list of questions before so I know what to expect.
Okay.
I'd appreciate that.
Noted. Okay.
right.
Okay. We usually do pre-calls. I figured I was like, let's just go off the cuff. So,
All right.
okay, good.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Back to work.